as I indicated earlier, Mr. Gene Guthrie was a team leader for the 95-003 supplemental inspection. Mr. Rick Skakowski, who's actually a branch chief in the NRC's Region 3 office, which is in Lisle, Illinois, joined us as part of the 23-member team to carry out this inspection, which actually began last fall. Both of these gentlemen are very experienced, extraordinarily experienced individuals, both of whom have served as senior resident inspectors at sites around the country, have significant experience in integrated plant operations and, of course, the regulatory processes that the NRC employs, in addition to, again, the number of people who were on the inspection. So at this point, let me just turn it over to Gene so we can get started.
Okay, how can everybody hear me okay? All right. This is the 95-003 supplemental inspection exit meeting. The agenda is, as you see it, we're going to cover some background information, and then we'll discuss our findings and observations, give an overall assessment of the team conclusions. We'll go over what happens next after this inspection, and then we'll provide some closing remarks. We'll give TBA an opportunity to make a comment, and then, as Vic mentioned earlier, we'll take a break, and then we'll open it up for public questions, comments. So with that, I wanted to start, make sure that everyone who's here understands why we did this inspection. Unit 1, as was pointed out in the end of cycle summary for 2012, the end of cycle assessment. Unit 1 was in column 4 of the agency action matrix for a valve failure that occurred in October 23rd of 2010. That was characterized as a high safety significant finding, or red finding. Process it through the reactor oversight process, and our safety significance determination process classified that as a red finding. When the valve failed, the senior resident inspector was actually in the control room. There was a refueling outage going on at the time, and the licensee was preparing to change plant conditions, part of the refueling outage, and when they tried to put the residual heat removal system in place, was determined at that time that there was no flow going through this portion of the system. Later it was determined that the disc inside the valve, it's called the disc, it's a flow control valve that actually had come apart from the stem and became lodged into the seat of the valve, it's called, and would not allow any flow to pass through it. So that caused it to, that one train, we call it a train, there's two different systems in the residual heat removal system per unit, 2 pumps per unit. And so when this one valve failed during the refueling outage, there was another train that was available. And that system was started up, and so there was actually no risk to the public at that time. No event occurred at the time of discovery of this valve being in this condition. And after the other system was put in service, the plant was continued to be cooled down, put in a condition where the refueling outage was in a normal condition, normal process. During that time, the licensee actually repaired the valve that failed. So prior to starting the unit back up, this valve had been repaired All of the similar valves in the unit were inspected and repaired as necessary, and the unit restarted. Subsequent to that, over the next few months, the licensee looked at all the other similar valves in the other two units and effected repairs and modifications on those valves. So as things have, as the units have been operated over the last 2 years, all of those valves have been repaired, and there's been no subsequent issues with those valves since then. Supplemental inspection process plays into the reactor oversight process. Because the red finding represented a high safety significant issue, was identified at the facility, the NRC typically, and in this case, as usual, we evaluated placing the facility in column 4 of the agency action matrix. That required that a supplemental inspection be conducted, and we call that, in this case, that inspection in 95003. At the time, when we considered whether the unit should be placed in column 4, we took into consideration all the issues that were known at the time of the evaluation for placing them in column 4. In the case of Brown's Ferry, the NRC was concerned at that time with equipment reliability and other programmatic performance issues, as well as safety culture issues. These concerns had been documented in multiple NRC inspection reports, and those issues involved equipment violations, equipment performance issues, safety culture, substantive cross-cutting issues, and that was previously commented were recurring and long-standing. These issues were used as a basis for determining the scope of the 95003 inspection in 2011. And it defined and shaped the licensee's 95003 effort in response to preparing for the NRC inspection. In September 2011, we initiated and completed a Part 1 inspection. The focus of that inspection was on valve engineering and maintenance programs at the facilities, including all 3 units. And as you can see, we did this inspection in 3 parts. Primarily, we conducted the Part 1 inspection. We did this very promptly after issuing our final safety significance determination letter for the red finding. Primarily, the inspection was done to determine whether any immediate safety issues existed and to review the licensee's motor-operated valve and testing programs. The Part 2 inspection was a maintenance-focused inspection. It was conducted over a 3-month time period and focused on program implementation involving maintenance activities on virtually all equipment at the station. And the effort was to determine the impact on maintaining the safety systems and implications on equipment reliability. The Part 3 inspection, which is the one that we just finished up and we're exiting on today, was conducted when the licensee informed us that they were ready for us to review their improvement plan. And we received notification from the licensee in February of this year, 2013, that they were ready for us to come and inspect, performing the Part 3 inspection of their overall performance improvement plan. Or the noun name for the licensee's improvement plan is an integrated improvement plan. We also conducted the Part 1 and Part 2 inspections to help the NRC be able to compare the licensee's performance in 2011 to current performance in 2013 and that helped us to evaluate the licensee's progress in implementing their performance improvement plan. Part 3, inspection. As I said, the licensee informed us in February of 2013, there goes my voice, that they were ready for us to perform the inspection. Once they notified us that they were ready, we identified team members to fill the inspection positions. And again, we had developed the scope and the plan of this inspection back in 2011. Ensuring an independent evaluation and assessment of Browns Ferry's performance, we filled the position, all the positions in the 95003 inspection effort with inspectors from Region 1, 2, 3, and headquarters. We also filled safety culture assessor positions from multiple headquarter office positions, or headquarter offices, I should say. The individuals on the team, as Vic said, and there was 23 people, 23 inspectors and assessors on the team. The individuals that were chosen had over 250 years of nuclear experience and have various disciplines of expertise needed to accomplish the inspection. We conducted the inspection with 2 weeks of training, 2 weeks of in-office inspection, which was primarily focused on document review. And we accomplished the latter part of the inspection on site, primarily focused on actual observation of Browns Ferry staff performing their duties and responsibilities.